Welcome to Shannon Marie Photography, where we
people's checking account. Looking for a checking account with no monthly requirements or service charge? People's State Bank's People's Checking Account is just what you're looking for. This account includes free debit card, online and mobile banking, bill pay, and much more at no cost to you. You heard that right. No cost to you. We're your local community bank ready to serve you. People's State Bank. Member FDIC.
24/7, 365. Myers Heating and Cooling is your trusted residential heating and cooling system service provider. Join Myers Comfort Club for peace of mind throughout the year and around the clock. Myers Heating and Cooling in Lancaster. Don't worry, we got this.
Check out Supps.com. Supps is Southwest Wisconsin's go-to supplement store. Find all your favorite supplement brands at the best prices from local people. Fuel your fitness journey. Supps.com, your go-to supplement store with locations in Fenimore and Dubuque.
Welcome to Shannon Marie Photography, where we specialize in turning memories into keepsakes. Based in Southwest Wisconsin, our portfolio is a testament to the beauty and joy we've had the privilege to capture. Whether it's a bride and groom at sunset, a little boy with a big smile, or a newborn in a basket, we ensure each image is a treasure. Book your session today at shannonmariephoto.com.
Grow your business by enhancing your digital marketing efforts with Queen Bee Radio and Phase 3 Digital. We provide customized solutions based on your business's unique needs, including targeted advertising, website development, a.com/Platteville to learn more.
This is a Queen Bee Radio High School sports presentation. Queen Bee Radio proudly brings you Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of high school sports. Presented by Myers Heating and Cooling and Wolf Construction. And sponsored by Claire Bank, Cuba City Family Dental, Culver's of Dubuque, Galena, and Platteville, Edward Jones representative Ben Reeves and Elena Reeves, Fuller's Milker Center, Nutrition World, the Peterson Agency, Raleigh Cheese, the Shoebox, and Tricor Insurance.
Good afternoon, softball fans, and welcome to Grant Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of high school softball, presented by Myers Heating and Cooling, Myers Home Comfort Store, and Wolf Construction on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. From Bond Park in Belmont, the Highland Cardinals, ranked 7th in Division 5, take on the Belmont Braves, ranked 3rd in Division 5 in Six Rivers West Conference softball. For the Wolf Construction broadcast picnic table here at Bond Park, I'm Steve Prestegard. Tyler Dictatis is our cameraman and will be joining us once we get the tech working. And our YouTube coverage of baseball and softball during this 2024 regular season begins this afternoon with two arch rivals and two ranked teams in the Six Rivers West. Here's really all you need to know about this rivalry. Last season, Highland won the West by a game over Belmont, but then the Braves knocked off the Cardinals in the sectional semifinal before they lost in the sectional final. And certainly no one would be surprised if these two teams have a third meeting in a few weeks. They will be meeting for the second time to wrap up the regular season. We will have that game for you from Highland. And given the fact that they are in the same half sectional, a matchup again in the postseason is certainly a distinct possibility, although there are teams like Wazeeka Steuben that might have something to say about that. It is time now here in the Wind for the Raleigh Cheese pregame show presented by Raleigh Cheese at the intersection of Highways 11 and 23 in the heart of Lafayette County. Don't forget the cheese. We're brought to you by Claire Bank with their 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin. Proud to support in Darlington. Contact Fritz's Burner Service, your best choice for all your heating and cooling needs in Darlington and the surrounding area. Visit them at fritzburnerservices.com or call 608-776-2123. Our game today brought to you by the Shoebox. As we said, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. Also brought to you by the Sports Page, welcoming you in for ice-cold beverages and to order of our menu. Weekly specials include Friday night fish, Saturday night prime rib, and large two-topping pizzas on Sundays. The Sports Page in Belmont. Also brought to you by Don's Tire in Highland. Don's Tire is your neighborhood Goodyear Tire Center. Count on the trusted local pros at Don's Tire at the bottom of Main Street in Highland. McNett Electric in Belmont can assist you with all your electrical needs. Chip and his crew at McNett Electric are on call and ready to help you with your agricultural, commercial, and residential electrical needs. McNett Electric in Belmont. And by TriStar Pallets of Highland and TriStar Mulch, Cobb, and Platteville. Beautify your home with decorative colored mulch. Give Jim Drury and the gang a call at TriStar Pallets of Highland and TriStar Mulch, Cobb, and Platteville. So if you want to decorate your house in Highland Cardinal Red, you can do that. And I'm sure if you wanted to do it in Belmont Orange, you could do that also. It would be kind of funny to go over there and, come up with some exotic color. I'd like teal mulch, or I'd like fuchsia mulch, or, something like that. I want my house to look like a Miami Vice set from the 80s. And
yeah, there we go.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes, we do have Tyler DeTanis here along with us. He'll be doing the camera work, so I just have to make sure I can keep track of what's going on. This is a big rivalry, obviously, because all you have to do is, we pointed out, is just look at how things went last year with these two teams playing for the third time.
Well, just think of the fact that these girls have been going against each other in multiple sports, too. We talked about it in last week's episode of the High School Sports Roundup, that whether it's volleyball, basketball, these two programs going head-to-head have had major conference title implications, and no difference here today. This game really sets the pace for whoever is going to be in the driver's seat in the Six Rivers West.
Coming into this game, Highland is at 5-0 and 6-1. Belmont is a half game back, 4-0 and 7-3, and that's Potosi Cassville 3-3, 5-5. Benton Schulzberg 2-3 and 4-3, and then River Ridge at 1-2 and 3-6. And in the Six Rivers East, and we'll bring that up for a specific reason, Barneveld 4-0, and they were 4-3-1. They did a trip to Alabama, lost 3 games, tied 1, but all against very, very good teams in Alabama, which had also played more games. Then it's Monticello and New Glarus 2-2 and 2-4. Judah Albany 3-3 and 6-5. Pecatonica 1-5 and 2-6, and Argyle Blackhawk 0-5 and 2-7. The reason we bring that up is because if you read, say, a certain website that is supposed to keep track of such things, well, now the National Anthem will explain that. After this, the National Anthem from Bond Park in Belmont. The National Anthem at Bond Park in Belmont.
For your starting lineup,
our temperature 62 degrees.
Number 23.
And, well, now they say it's 61 degrees. Dropped a degree. But that's hardly the story. The wind is really the story at this point. It's blowing west-northwest at 23 miles per hour, gusting to 29. And therefore, it is blowing in from right field. And I don't think...
and for your starting lineup for the
anybody could hit a home run out to right into the wind, at least not a home run over the wall. You might be able to hit one and run a long time, but not otherwise. And, oh, by the way, there's a chance of rain. And we've already had some spitting rain on and off, and including when we were setting up. We hope we're covered for that eventuality.
Well, it's a good call that you had a surplus of rain jackets in your car, that we could cover the equipment if absolutely needed. But, yeah, the sun is shining right now. There's some clouds up above us, not quite overcast. I mean, the sun is shining. The field is sun-splashed right now, but with the clouds in the area, we'll kind of see how, potential rain might factor in. But as you said, the wind definitely a factor here today.
You know why I had all that stuff? Because I never cleaned my car out, so...
Is that the same rain equipment that we had in Green Bay a couple years ago for Dodgeville?
I think it is. I know the umbrella is. That's here someplace also. So, our starting lineups are presented by Fuller's Milker Center. See Fuller's complete hygiene line and options for your brand new dairy setup or existing parlor remodel. Fuller's in Lancaster and Richland Center, and at FullersMilkerCenter.com. Here is the Highland starting lineup. Lily Mishik will catch and lead off. She will be followed by Brindley Bullant. She is the third baseman batting second. Kate Terrell, the pitcher, will bat third. And batting in the cleanup spot is shortstop Bronwyn Halverson. Batting fifth, Faith Yawn is the left fielder. Batting sixth is Allison Bedworth. She is the designated player, and she is batting, I should say, for Sophie Terrell, who is the first baseman. Batting seventh, Cora Healy Doherty, and she is the right fielder. Batting eighth is Marissa Biba. She is the second baseman, and batting ninth is Anna Hennessy, and she is the center fielder. The defense, as we get ready for the first pitch, we'll get to the defense in a moment. And now the starting Hodgson's first pitch is up high for ball one. Callie Jo Hodgson, a freshman, is the pitcher. The catcher, as we said, because Casey Rickers is out, is Carson Raymaker. And the next pitch is up high. And it is 2 balls, no strikes. Hodgson ready. And that is a called strike to make it 2-1. Bailey Mester at first. Addison McNett is at second. And that pitch is a called strike, and it's quickly 2-2. The scoreboard says 2-1, though. Did I give one more pitch?
It's 2-2.
It is. That's upstairs, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Reese Rundy at short. And the other Rundy, Claire Rundy, is at third base, the 3-2. Chop foul, we'll do it again. And in the outfield, Lexi Rickers in left, Lainey Rickers in center, and Morgan Freeman in right field for Belmont. Here is the 3-2. And that's a called strike 3, 1 away. So Hodgson, who was down 2-0, comes back and gets the called strikeout. And here's Brindley Bullant, and that pitch is upstairs, ball 1. Scoreboard is, even in this bright light, the scoreboard is quite visible.
Yes.
And that didn't used to be the case, so that's a nice upgrade for those of us who need that. And it's a ground ball to second, and the throw to first in plenty of time, 2 away in the first inning. McNett to Mester. Here's Kate Terrell. Terrell on the season, 227 batting average, 593 OPS with 4 RBIs. And the first pitch is a strike. As mentioned, this is starting the season, obviously, for us on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. We will have the rematch between these two teams, which is slated to be the last game of the regular season. 1 ball, 1 strike. But not necessarily the last time these two teams play each other, of course, because as mentioned last season, they met the 3rd time in the sectional semifinal. 2 balls and a strike. And even though that was Highland's conference title, they won by a game over Belmont. Belmont got the last word, so to speak, in the sectional semifinal. Swing and a miss, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's why they have the cliche, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. 2-2. Swing and a miss to end the inning. And so Hodgson retires 1-2-3, the Cardinals. And we go to the bottom of the 1st inning, no score. And time once again for the starting lineups presented by Fuller's Milker Center. See Fuller's complete hygiene line and options for your brand new dairy setup or existing parlor remodel. Fuller's in Lancaster and Richland Center and at Fuller'sMilkerCenter.com. For Belmont, Bailey Mester, the first baseman, will lead off. Hang on just a second. Addison McNett, the second baseman, will bat second. Reese Rundy, the shortstop, bats third. Morgan Freeman in right field will bat fourth, bat cleanup. Carson Raymaker, the catcher and a freshman, will bat fifth. Batting sixth is Lainey Rickers, the center fielder. Lexi Rickers, the left fielder, will bat seventh. Callie Jo Hodgson, the pitcher, will bat eighth. And batting ninth is Claire Rundy, playing third base. Defense for Highland, Faith Yuan in left field. Hennessy is in center, and Cora Healy Doherty is in right field. Bullant is at third. Halverson at short. Biba at second. Sophie Terrell at first. Mishik behind the plate. Kate Terrell on the mound for the Highland Cardinals. Kate Terrell this season, 6-1, and an ERA of 1.98. This will be her 8th game pitched. And on the season, she's given up 28 hits, 17 runs, 13 of them earned, walked 18, struck out 73. And she had a no-hitter earlier this season. In fact, last week she had a no-hitter. Of course, Belmont can tell you about no-hitters also. They had something that is, I can't, obviously it's never, you can't say it's never been done. And the first pitch is grounded to second, and Mester is retired on the first pitch, second to first, 1 away in the bottom of the first inning. Last week, Belmont had a double no-hitter in 2 different sports. Belmont played Benton Shullsburg in softball in Benton and got the no-hitter. At the same time, the baseball team was in Shullsburg playing Shullsburg-Benton, and they got a no-hitter. First pitch, a called strike to Addison McNett. Up high, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. As you can tell, you may be able to hear the wind on the microphones because it is that windy out. But I can tell you, I've announced games in worse weather than this. Outside, in fact, one of them was a Belmont game a few years back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It was in Potosi, and the wind was roaring the whole game. I think it was like 35 miles an hour. That pitch is fouled off. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes still with 1 out. No score. And the funny part about it is, so I did the game. Belmont beat Potosi 19-0. And 1-2 pitch, high, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. I was leaving and, taking all the stuff back, all the equipment back to the car, and a couple people said, good game, from their cars. And the pitch grounded up the middle and a base hit. First hit of the ball game. McNett singles up the middle. And she is at first with 1 away, no score. Bottom of the first inning as the wind shifts now. Well, according to the flag it does, but it's still blowing right in our face. But it's kind of a little bit more from right to left at the moment. Here is Reese Rundy, the shortstop. But the funny part about that game, the weather was so miserable, people went to the game, but they never left their cars. And they sat there and listened to me on the radio, which was kind of a funny experience anyway. Bunted at the plate, and the throw is dropped at first base. And getting over to third is McNett. And it'll be second and third as Rundy gets over to second base on the errant throw. That'll be a sacrifice and an error. And so it's second and third and 1 out. And here is Morgan Freeman, the right fielder. So the sacrifice works better than could be expected. And now a bunt attempt. And that's low for ball 1 to Freeman. Another pitch. And that is a called strike, and the count even at 1-1. No score. 1 out, bottom of the first, but Belmont threatening with McNett at third and Reese Rundy at second. The next pitch upstairs, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Yeah, Wisconsin spring, you can have in the same day, you can get sunburn, windburn, and wet sitting at the same sporting event. 2-1. Way out in front, and that popped foul, or a kind of stroked foul, or perhaps ticked foul, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two from Terrell. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Raymaker, the catcher, is on deck. 3-2. Way out in front and dribble to first. That will not score anybody. The runner is held. No, actually, the throw went to the plate not in time. McNett scores. Rundy gets to third. And Freeman aboard at first on what I assume would be a fielder's choice and an RBI. And it's 1-0. Belmont in front. Now the mound conference. After that with the runner at third.
Don't you open up that window. Don't you let out that antidote.
Now the runners go back where they're... Now that the conferences are over and the sun just disappeared, here's Raymaker, the catcher. She squares to bunt. And then going to second base without a throw is Freeman. And so it is second and third with 1 out and 1 strike to Raymaker after the bunt attempt. Pop foul and headed toward us. Bounced over us and ended up on the pathway. And it's quickly 2 strikes to the freshman Raymaker. And the pitch. High, 1-2. One interesting thing about coming to Belmont Park today is that it's in a construction zone. They're redoing the street next to it, so you can get to one parking lot but not the other coming from that direction. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Second and third, 1 out, 1 in. Way out in front and grounded to short. Throw to first for 1. Another run scores. And it's 2-0 for an RBI ground out for Raymaker. Grundy comes in. And over to third is Freeman. And here is Laney Rickers, the center fielder. And it's down low for a ball. Jeff Hodgson gesturing on what he wants to have happen. Here's a well-hit ball to left. And it's foul, and not by much. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. That probably was pushed foul by the wind, I would have to think. It is about 200 feet all the way around. There's an inner fence in front of the outer fence, which is 235. And that pitch is a called strike, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the 1-2. High, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two. And held up in time, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Runner third, 2 in, and the 3-2. Low. So a walk for Laney Rickers. It's first and third. And Lexi Rickers, the left fielder, steps to the plate. Belmont leading Highland 2-0, 2 away in the bottom of the first inning. That's a strike. And on the pitch, Rickers gets to second, Laney Rickers, so it's second and third again. RBI opportunities for Lexi Rickers. Swing and a miss, and it's 1 and 2 strikes, excuse me. Here is Terrell's 0-2 pitch. And that is called strike 3, and that ends the first inning. But Belmont scores 2 runs, and they score them on just 1 hit and an error, and leave 2 runners aboard. And our score after 1 is Belmont 2, Highland 0 on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. And today's game, after I move my paper around here, today's game brought to you by Doan's Auto Center. Patrick Doan can assist you with all of your vehicle maintenance, batteries, coolants, flushes, oil changes, tires, and more. Doan's Auto Center, Patrick Doan in Belmont. Our stream brought to you by Anderson Rubber Chartered in Dubuque, powering our audio stream. Anderson Rubber Chartered in Dubuque, when you are ready. Brought to you by Community First Bank, for you in the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank, cfbank.com, member FDIC, and Myers Heating and Cooling, servicing Southwest Wisconsin since 1999. Myers Heating and Cooling, where they say, don't worry, we got this. Grand Regional Health Center's ortho team, Dr. Brad Binsfeld and Nate Stocco, PAC, provide exceptional care for sports-related injuries. Grand Regional Health Center, experience the difference. 4-5-6 batters in the top of the second. First pitch is high for ball 1 to Halverson. Halverson on the season, 294 batting average. Her OPS is 831. She has 6 RBIs. 2 balls, no strikes. Belmont leading 2-0 in the top of the second. That pitch is downstairs, and it's 3-0. Faith Yawn, the left fielder, on deck. .30 is upstairs, a 4-pitch walk for Halverson. And she's aboard at first. Faith Yawn batting .364. Her OPS 1,209, which is a big contract in Major League Baseball. 1 home run, 10 RBIs. Ball 1 to Yawn. Kind of interesting that she has those numbers since she's the 5th batter, but that is how it goes. And the pitch fouled off, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Both of these teams had more than 20 wins last season and got to the Sweet 16 level. And that is bunted at the plate. And the 5-3 putout advances Halverson to second base. 5-3 sacrifice. 1 out. And here's Addison Bedward, the designated player. .333 batting average, .667 OPS. And she has a chance to get her first RBI of the season if she can get Halverson home from second base. 2-0 Belmont, 1 out, top of the second inning. And the lefty chops at it and misses, and quickly down 2 strikes. .02. Down the third base line, and that's a base hit. The throw to the plate is dropped, and going to second on the throw will be Bedward. She gets the RBI, and then moves to second. Halverson is in, and it is 2-1. And as mentioned, that is Bedward's first RBI of the season. And here is Cora Healy-Doherty batting .444, 1,028 OPS. And she has 2 RBIs and a chance to tie the game with Bedward at second base and 1 out. And that's a called strike. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Well, my weather app, for what it's worth, said we were going to get rain, I think right about now, but I don't think that's going to happen because there's nothing moving in right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And line to right field. And a base hit, and Healy-Doherty with a base hit, and Bedward to third, and first and third with 1 away. And here's Biba. Marissa Biba batting .333 with a pair of RBIs, and she's got a chance to tie the game. Drive in a run to tie the game with runners at first and third. 1 strike. Downstairs, the runner goes, and the throw is cut off. Stolen base for Healy-Doherty. And so now Bibo with a chance to drive in 2 and give Highland the lead. It's 2-1 Belmont. And that pitch is strike 3. Two away. And here's the 9th place hitter, Hennessy. Anna Hennessy batting this season .238. OPS of .438. And she has 1 RBI. But again, a chance to add to that and tie the game or give Highland the lead. Strike 1. That was a called strike at the knees. Oh, 1 is chopped right in front of the plate. And the throw ended up not being made, and suddenly that was foul, that's why. So it's 2 strikes. No, wait a second. It is 0-2. All right, the scoreboard says it isn't, but 2 strikes. Glad you noticed. The 0-2. And a swing and a miss, and that ends the inning. So Hodgson gets into trouble and gives up a run, but that's all she gives up. 1 run on a pair of hits. 2 left. And her score after an inning and a half is now Belmont 2, Highland 1. Russell Offices is here to assist you as your local legal representation. Call for a consultation to discuss personal injury, estate planning, family law, criminal defense, probate administration, and more. Proudly serving Southern Wisconsin, Russell Law Offices. The Queen Bee Radio Sports SoundCloud page. Listen back to recordings of previous sportscasts anytime and on demand. SoundCloud.com/Queen Bee Radio Sports. We're also brought to you, by Bytech Resource Management, a greener way. Bytech Resource Management of Monroe. Also bring you today's ball game. The 8-9-1 batters in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Hodgson, Claire Rundy, and then Mester. Now, both of these teams had scoring opportunities and took advantage to some extent. Belmont, of course, got the 2 in the bottom of the 1st. Highland got 1, had runners in scoring position, but left them there. And so Belmont heads to the bottom of the 2nd inning with a 2-1 lead over Highland. And while we pause for a musical interlude, Belmont coming off a 9-2 win. First pitch is a strike to Hodgson. They lost a couple of games in Prairie du Chien on Saturday, but were able to get the win, 1 ball, 1 strike over Potosi Cassville yesterday. Hodgson got 8 strikeouts and gave up just 1 hit and 1 run yesterday. 2 balls and a strike. Three balls and a strike. Terrell ready, 3-1. Swing and a miss, and it's 3-2. Ninth batter, Claire Rundy on deck, 3-2. And that is a called strike 3, 1 away. Terrell now, that is her 2nd strikeout of the ball game, and here is Claire Rundy, the 3rd baseman. And first pitch is ball 1. Pop foul. And I think it may have hit a piece of construction equipment. It did. It landed in the truck bed. That's a good shot. 1 ball, 1 strike. And meanwhile, a strike to make it 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, at least it hit the bed and not, say, the windshield. Or a window, although that would have been more difficult to hit the back window of a pickup truck. Popped up. And a diving attempt by the first baseman, Sophie Terrell. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. I saw a crazy thing some years ago at a baseball game where a player had his car parked behind the left field fence. That turned out to be a mistake. Here's the pitch. Changeup. And that is strike 3. 2 away. Back to the top of the order, Bailey Mester, who grounded to second in the bottom of the first inning. 2-1. Belmont leads Highland. 2 out in the bottom of the second. And the pitch is upstairs, ball 1. So what was the mistake about parking your car down in the left field line? You hit a foul ball and you hit your back window and break it of your own car. And that pitch popped foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. The obvious first mistake is never, ever park behind the left field wall because most hitters are left-handed hitters. 1-1. Popped up. And right in front of us, making the catch, is the left fielder Bullant. And that ends inning number 2. A 1-2-3 second inning for Kay Terrell. Our score after 2, Belmont 2, Highland 1. And today's game brought to you by Carey's Seamless Gutters and Overhead Doors in Belmont, Prairie du Chien, and at Carey'sGuttersandDoors.com, and Sloan Implement, your official John Deere dealer in Bloomington, Cuba City, Montfort, and at Sloans.com. Game also brought to you by Bouse Electric. Call Brad Adrian and Josh Busher at Bouse Electric, Lancaster and Fenimore, and Brian's Auto Body and Paint Specialist in Lancaster. We had a chance to do the latest edition of the Queen Bee Radio Sports High School Sports Roundup last week. We were trying to figure out what was going to happen. I guess today we get to see if we're right or not. Obviously, I mean, Highland and Belmont up at the top of the conference. Probably most people expected that. And if you are interested in hearing more brilliant insight, the Queen Bee Radio High School Sports Roundup is our weekly high school sports show covering everything in our area's high school sports scene, including highlights, recaps, previews, interviews, outrageous predictions, and more. New episodes every week on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube and SoundCloud channels. Back to the top of the order for Highland at the top of the third. And a called strike to Lily Mishik, who struck out looking in the first inning. Belmont with 2 at the bottom of the first. Highland with 1 at the top of the second. Way upstairs, 1 ball, 1 strike. Is it all working?
It's working.
Well, that's good. I hate to be talking to myself and people are like, what's wrong with him? Some people think that anyway. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Kind of a delay on the ball being thrown back to Hodgson. Hodgson is one of those players, because she's Jeff's daughter, obviously. And the 2-1 pitch downstairs is 3-1. Second-generation players who played for Jeff Hodgson, who talked about this in the Raleigh Cheese pregame show. 3-1. And that's a strike to make it 3-2. You think about it, the first thing is you got to be around long enough. So Jerry Pettigrew had a couple of second-generation player, a few, including as the pitch is fouled off. One of his sons played for him, Ryan Pettigrew, and then his grandson, Foster Pettigrew, played for him also. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And to third, high throw, and that's going to be an error. And digging to second and getting there will be Mester. So an E5 puts Mishik over to second base, and that's the tying run with nobody out in the top of the third inning. Bullen grounded to second back in the first. Seemed like that was a okay play to make. She fielded it cleanly, but the throw kind of went off the line, and the first pitch is ball 1. Strike 1. I think the fence was in the way. That's why I missed it. From our perspective here. Here's a bunt. And diving foul, or catch is made. And there's one out. That was a nice defensive play there on the foul pop-up. I think that was the first baseman, Mester, making the catch. One away. And Mishik unable to advance. Here's Terrell, who struck out in the third inning. Struck out to end the first inning. There was a 3 listed here for the third out, so that's why. 1 ball, no strikes. Amazing how rusty you can get after a month off. Month and a half, actually, come to think of it. 2 balls, no strikes. And getting over to third, meanwhile, is Mishik. The stolen base without a throw, so she's 90 feet away from tying the game. Actually, as I think of it, it is not 90 feet, is it, in softball? Yeah. She's 1 base away from tying the game, and she will, as it's hit to right center and to the wall. And a double for Terrell, and we are tied at 2. Well hit to right center, right between the 2 outfielders. And so we are back to even here at the top of the third inning. And here is Halverson, who walked and scored in the second. As she takes high for ball 1. Called strike, and a count even at 1. Terrell, the go-ahead run at second base with 1 away. Two balls and a strike. Swing and a miss to make it 2-2. See what the wind does with this as it's hit, and the wind, I'm not sure how much the wind actually had to do with that, but it ends up going foul, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 away, 1 in, and a 2-2 tie. Three and 2. Faith Yawn on deck. Three-2. Stays alive by fouling it off, barely. Terrell, the go-ahead run at second. 1 run already in. We're tied at 2. In the top of the 3rd inning. First of 2 meetings between the two teams that in the loss column tied for first with no losses. In the Six Rivers West, and that's high for ball 4. That is a strike 3 called. Glad you saw that. So Halverson strikes out, and here is Jan, who had the sacrifice that led to the run scoring in the 2nd inning. The first run scoring in the 2nd inning. As you may notice, we are down the left field line because that's where the best bandwidth is. And from that distance, and I hate to admit this as part of the secret stuff about broadcasting as the first pitch is fouled off, you don't always look at the action going on because you have other things to look at, like your ad reads or stats or something like that. 1 strike. That's a swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 with a runner going to 3rd. And so Terrell is now 1 base away from giving her team the lead, but it's 2 strikes to Jan. The 0-2 stays alive, does Bedward. I guess that was kind of one of those pay no attention to the man behind the curtain moments or something like that. Breaking the 4th wall, something. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Wind has either been blowing in, although right now, again, it seems as though it's blowing from the left field line to the right field foul pole. That's fouled off, still 1-2. But clearly it's moving from west to northwest, kind of swinging back and forth. And although the wind might have cleared out any chance for rain, throw to 3rd after the ball, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and we're tied at 2. Deuces wild, as somebody might say. The 2-2 to left center, and the catch made by the left fielder Lexi Rickers to end the inning. The wind there, I think, made that a little bit of an adventure. Belmont gets out, but Highland ties the game on a hit and an error with 1 runner left aboard at 3rd base through 2.5. We have solved nothing, and we are tied at 2. People's State Bank for personal home business and ag loans. Visit one of their convenient area locations or visit peoplesfinancial.com, member FDIC. And because let's try this. All right. Also, we are brought to you by Fritz's Burner Service in Darlington. Contact Fritz's Burner Service, your best choice for all your heating and cooling needs in Darlington and in the surrounding area. Visit them at fritzburnerservices.com or call 608-776-2123. First pitch is strike 1 to McNett, who singled and scored in the 1st inning. And this is hit to left center, and well, it's over the head of the left fielder Jan, and that will be a double for McNett. Her 2nd hit of the ball game. And here is Reese Rundy, who reached on a sacrifice and scored the 2nd run of the game in the 1st inning. Belmont scored the first 2. Highland in that 1st inning. And that's strike one. Highland with single runs in the second and the top of the third to tie the ball game. That's bunted. And the throw to first for the out. But getting over to third is McNett. So she's over there with 2 outs. That's 2 successful sacrifices for Reese Rundy. And here is Freeman now, who reached on a fielder's choice and drove in a run in the first. And that's ball one. Terrell's pitch. And that's ball two. To have a changeup and a base hit to left field. And that will score McNett her second run. Freeman with her second RBI of the game. And Belmont with a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the third inning. Now Raymaker, who grounded to short in the first inning. And a chance to add to Belmont's 3-2 lead, and the first pitch is ball one. Time called. Now Terrell's ready. And bounced up there. And now taking off. And safe on a delayed steal is Freeman. She decided to take off after the ball was kind of juggled at the plate. And just did get in. So she's now at second base. And meanwhile, the pitch to Raymaker is a ball. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. 2-1. Swing and miss 2-2. Lainey Rickers on deck. Three balls, 2 strikes. Don't know how likely it is if Freeman would try to go to third here. Swing and a miss at what looked like ball 4. And so 2 away. And here is Lainey Rickers, who walked and stole second back in the first inning. 3-2, Belmont leading Highland, bottom of the third inning, and 2 away. And that is ball 1. We will have, by the way, weather permitting, and I'm starting to wonder about that, but Friday, Fenimore and Cuba City in baseball, 4:10 start on the Queen Bee Sports YouTube channel. 2 balls and no strikes. You talk about a baseball rivalry, that's Cuba City and Fenimore certainly, although at the moment they're looking up at 2 teams on top in the SWAL. That's fouled off, and what will it hit? Went over the equipment. 2 balls and a strike. The 2 teams up top in the SWAL and baseball are Mineral Point, which is not lost yet, and I think to everybody's surprise, Riverdale. And that's low, and it's 2 balls and a strike. And if I am not mistaken about this, I think there's a possibility that Riverdale hosts the sectional. I'll have to check on that. We'll have an answer for that by Friday, but, similar to Belmont, and that pitch grounded to third, and a nice throw to first to end inning number 3. But a run scores on a pair of hits. 1 runner left. And after 3, Belmont 3, Highland 2 on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. And softball today brought to you by Claire Bank with their 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin. Proud of our community. proud to support our community events. Clear Bank, where they say we can do that. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Doolittle's Pub and Eatery in Lancaster. Follow them on Facebook for daily lunch specials. Doolittle's on the Square in Lancaster. Parman Farm Supply offers best kill insecticides and easy way cattle feeders. Parman Farm Supply can work with beef and dairy operations from 1 to 1,000, both organic and traditional. Call Parman Farm Supply in Belmont today. And we're brought to you by Rundy Plumbing and Heating in Belmont. For all your agricultural, commercial, and residential needs, call Rundy Plumbing and Heating in Belmont. 6-7-8 batters for Highland in the top of the fourth inning. That is where the big stats are, for what that's worth. Belmont leading 3-2. Bedward singled in the second inning. Actually drove in a run with a single in the second inning. First run of the game for the Cardinals, and she slaps it foul down the third base line for strike one. Cuba City and Fenimore kind of in the southern, the bottom end right now of the swamp, but it's obviously quite early. But you have to, Riverdale, where'd that come from? Popped up, caught. And that was the second baseman, McNett, making the catch. One away in the fourth inning. Here's Healy Doherty, who singled and stole second back in the second inning. We have, by the way, Brewers baseball. First pitch swing and a miss. They are in Pittsburgh after losing to the Pirates last night. That is on AM 1590 WPVL. They'll be on tomorrow night and Thursday afternoon as well. And then the Yankees come to American Family Field. 1 ball, 1 strike. This weekend, Yankees Brewers on AM 1590 WPVL. As the wind picks up, pitch is a called strike, or a swing and a miss, actually. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Hodgson's pitch. Upstairs, 2-2. Hard to believe. Talk about time moving. It is already approximately halfway through the baseball and softball seasons. Swing and a miss, so that's strike 3. 2 away. Near the top of the fourth, we will have the Peterson Agency halftime report between innings. Or I should say between half innings. Biba struck out back in the second. Ball 1. And, one person who will not be making the trip, although I don't think he would have anyway, was the Yankees' longtime announcer, John Sterling, who abruptly announced his retirement last week. And he's been there a long time. Pitches put foul out of play. John Sterling, before he was a Yankees announcer, he'd actually been in New York for a while, but came to Atlanta, and so was part of the Superstation TBS crew, and got to call one of the most bizarre moments in Major League Baseball history. That is down low, and it's 2-1. It was the dark of night after Independence Day in 1985. Mets-Braves game, and that's hit to short, and a nice field by the first baseman, Mester, there. To end the inning, a 1-2-3, top of the fourth, and halfway through, Belmont leading Highland 3-2. Which means it is time for the Peterson Agency halftime report presented by the Peterson Agency in Argyle. Brian Peterson specializes in home, farm, auto, and umbrella policies. Belmont with a pair of runs in the first. Highland with single runs in the second and the third. And then Belmont with the answer in the bottom of the third. And that is where we are right now. A 3-2 lead. And who are you pointing? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I see. That's because I couldn't read that part. Oh, yes. Well, he did it again. Andrew McCutcheon, solo home run, and it's 1-0 Pittsburgh. He had a solo home run last night. I think he led off the bottom of the first, did he not? And that is, again, AM 1590 on AM 1590 WPBL. I thought you were showing me the photo, but 7-8-9, Lexi Rickers, Hodgson, and Claire Rundy. And the first pitch is strike one to Lexi Rickers, who struck out looking back in the first inning. And a ground ball right back to Terrell, and one away that fast. So you ask, what was so weird about this Independence Day game? It was in, I believe, the 16th inning, and Atlanta was down 1 run. It was a game that had a delay, I think, because of rain. And the first pitch, strike one, to Hodgson, who struck out looking back in the second inning. And the Braves had, as this pitch popped up, and the catch made by the catcher, Mishik. 2 away. And here's Claire Rundy, who struck out swinging back in the second inning. So Braves were down to their last out. They'd run through all of their pinch hitters. And the first pitch is strike one. So they had to bring in a pitcher to hit, Rick Camp, who was not known as a hitter until that night when he hit a home run in the 16th inning to retie the game. I think there were like 5,000 people at the game at that point, but John Sterling called it the most wacky thing he had ever seen in baseball at that point. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Sterling then went to New York and got to call all of those World Series that the Yankees played in the late 90s and early 2000s. Fouled off the plate in 1 and 2, but he announced it kind of out of the blue, announced his retirement right at the start of the season and said he made a mistake coming back, actually. And the reason, he said, 1-2. Foul off the plate. We'll do it again, 1 and 2. The reason he said is getting to the stadium. The commute, believe it or not. He didn't want to do the commute anymore. 1-2 with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. And the fourth is over. A 1-2-3 fourth inning for Kate Terrell. We're through 4. Belmont 3, Highland 2. The sports page in Belmont welcomes you in for ice cold beverages and order off our menu. Weekly specials include Friday night fish, Saturday night prime rib, and large 2-topping pizzas on Sundays. The sports page in Belmont. We're also brought to you by Don's Tire in Highland. Don's Tire is your neighborhood Goodyear Tire Center. Kind of the trusted local pros at Don's Tire at the bottom of Main Street in Highland. TriStar Pallets of Highland, TriStar Mulch Cobb in Platteville. Beautify your home with decorative colored mulch. Give Jim Drury and the gang a call at TriStar Pallets of Highland, TriStar Mulch Cobb, and Platteville. And McNett Electric in Belmont. They can assist you with all your electrical needs. Chip and his crew at McNett Electric are on call and ready to help you with your agricultural, commercial, and residential electrical needs. McNett Electric in Belmont. Top of the 5th inning. 3 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for Belmont. 2 runs, 3 hits, and 1 error for Highland. And it'll be the 9-1-2 batters, Hennessy, Mishik, and Bullitt for the Cardinals. Hennessy, one of the two lefties in the lineup. I think it's two lefties in the lineup for the Cardinals. Runs up and misses the pitch for strike one. Another swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. Now, as I said, John Sterling wouldn't be making the trip this weekend in Milwaukee anyway, even if he hadn't retired, because similar to Bob Uecker, he was not doing road trip or most road trips anymore. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Although I'm positive John Sterling probably made the trip to Boston. 1-2. Tip foul. And we'll do 1 and 2 again. Top of the 5th, 3-2. Belmont leading Highland. And that bounces up there, and so it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hennessy struck out back in the second inning. High, and it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mishik, the leadoff hitter, is on deck. Shot foul. So we'll do 3 and 2 again. As I think the clouds are about to cover the sun in a few minutes. Or maybe sooner. You can really tell the difference when the clouds get over the sun. 3-2, slapped to short, and that'll be a base hit. Infield single for Hennessy. Her first hit of the ball game. And she's the tying run at first with nobody out in the top of the 5th. Mishik struck out looking in the first, reached on an error and scored in the third. And diving catch is made. And that was a great catch by the center fielder, Lainey Rickers, for 1 out. Now Bullant grounded to second in the first, popped to first in the third. Strike 1. Hodgson taking some time before she pitches, and that is 1 ball and 1 strike. I have to wonder if you're a pitcher if you're a major league pitcher with a pitch clock, if you like feel any tension as the thing drops to 5, 4, 3. Chopped down the first baseline, and a tag is missed, so the throw goes to first. She gets the out. That does move the runner, however. Hennessy over to second. But 2 out. And here's Kate Terrell, who struck out in the first. Doubled with an RBI in the third. And that RBI tied the game in the top of the third. First pitch, pop foul. The Braves then had an answer in the bottom of the third inning, and that's where we are right now. 3-2, Belmont over Highland. 2 out, top of the 5th inning. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it feels like the temperature dropped 10 degrees when that cloud went over. The 0-1. High, and it's a ball and 1 strike. The wind has calmed down a little bit, though, kind of curiously, with a cloud covering the sun. It's high, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Tying run, Hennessy at second with 2 away. Two one. 3-1. And wow, they're going to intentionally walk. Well, that's interesting. They are intentionally walking Terrell. So it's first and second, and they're doing that to face Halverson, who walked and scored in the second and then struck out looking in the third. That does give you a force out at any base. Well, not at the plate, obviously. Here's a throw to third, and to make sure that Hennessy doesn't run to third. Anywhere on the infield is a force out. 1 ball, no strikes with 2 out. Tying in go-ahead runs, Hennessy at second and Terrell at first. And meanwhile, 2 balls, no strikes. Pop fouled on the first base line. And out of play, and it's 2-2. I'm sure we'll be discussing the Cuba City 2022 season on Saturday, or on Friday. This is up the middle for a base hit. And running Hennessy to the plate. And safe, and we're tied. RBI single for Halverson. Hennessy scores. We're tied at 3. Terrell the second. And here is Yawn, who sacrificed in the first and then flew out to left, or excuse me, in the second inning, sacrificed in the second, and then flew out to left in the third. Tied at 3 in the top of the 5th. Hodgson's first pitch. Fouled at the plate, strike 1. I think the scoreboard is an inning off. It says they only have 4 innings of score, but it's in the 5th. Either that or I missed, or I added an inning that doesn't exist on my score sheet. 2 strikes, meanwhile. Here's the 0-2. Fouled off. We'll do 0-2 again. Terrell, the go-ahead run at second. And Halverson at first. With 2 out. The 0-2. Did not go, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hodgson ready for the 1-2. Popped up and caught by the second baseman, McNett, to end the inning. But Highland ties the game on 2 hits and a walk. 2 runners are left. And our score after 4.5, Belmont 3, Highland 3, with the Braves coming up in the bottom of number 5. And we're brought to you by Doan's Auto Car Center. Patrick Doan can assist you with all your vehicle maintenance needs, batteries, coolant flushes, oil changes, tires, and more. Doan's Auto Center, Patrick Doan in Belmont. Anderson Weber Toyota in Dubuque, powering our audio stream. Anderson Weber Toyota in Dubuque when you are ready. Community First Bank, for you in the communities where you live, work, and play. Experience for yourself the difference at Community First Bank, cfbank.com, member FDIC. Top of the order for Belmont at the bottom of the 5th, Mester, McNett, and Reese Rundy. Certainly we have had the game we kind of thought we would as far as a very tight ball game. Tied at 3. And the first pitch to Mester is low for ball 1. She grounded to first in the first and then flied to left in the second. 2 balls and no strikes. It's called strike, and it's 2-1 to Mester, who is, if I'm not mistaken, I think she's the only lefty in the Belmont lineup. Pop foul, and the wind is ended up hitting the concession stand on the fly, or on the bounce, I should say. And it makes me think, you know, it's been a while since I had lunch. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lined up the middle for a base hit. Mester leads off with a single. And she is the go-ahead run with nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning. Here's McNett, who singled and scored in the first and doubled and scored in the third. So she's got 2 of the 3 runs scored for the Braves. And the wind is now knocking everything off from the Wolf Construction broadcast picnic table. Bunt at the plate. And that goes foul. So back to first goes Mester. Back to the plate goes McNett. And the pitch misses for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wind is picked up again. Now blowing again from right field to left field. And that is hit to left field, and it's over the left fielder's head. Yawn. Digging for third, and getting there is Mester on a double for McNett. That is her 3rd hit of the game. And now the go-ahead runs in scoring position with nobody on the bottom of the 5th. Here is Reese Rundy. Sacrifice and a run scored in the first and a sacrifice in the third. Tied at 3, nobody out, bottom of the 5th inning. And the first pitch, ball 1. Belmont has left 3 runners on base. Highland has left 4 runners on base. Seems like more, but that's what it was. 2 balls, no strikes. Thing is, both teams have left runners on scoring position after they scored. Of course, Belmont, or Highland actually, had runners at second and third and didn't get either of them in early in the game. And meanwhile, 2 balls and a strike to Rundy. Bunt attempt foul. And it's 2-2 with nobody out. Jeff Hodgson telling his base runners what to do, what to look for. 2-2, nobody out. 3-2. The cleanup hitter, Morgan Freeman, on deck. And she's been on base twice today. That's hit to center, and that's a base hit. And then on the throw in, runner gets to second. Mester is in. So Rundy with a base hit and an RBI. McNett gets to third. Rundy comes to second on the throw, and Belmont's got the lead back 4-3 in the bottom of the fifth inning. And meanwhile, the first pitch is a strike to Freeman, who reached on an error in the first, drove in a run, and then singled and scored in the second inning, and that's fouled off, and it's quickly 2 strikes. So McNett with 3 hits today, 2 runs scored, and she's at third, and Rundy at second. That's low, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. One and two with nobody out. 2-2. An RBI opportunity, obviously, for Freeman, who's already got 2 of them today. She had an RBI single in the third that gave Belmont the lead at the time. Now they've got the lead back 4-3. Swing and a miss. Or was it foul off? That is a swing and a miss. Or was it fouled off? Well, now the umpires are going to talk about it. No runner moved. And so what did they call? She's going back to the plate. And actually she's going back to the dugout. So that's a strikeout. And the first out of the bottom of the fifth. Here's Raymaker now, who grounded to short in the first and struck out in the third. Now she's got the RBI opportunity to add some insurance for Belmont, which has just taken a 4-3 lead. She hits it foul. That hit the top of the skid steer? One strike. Bunt. And the throw to first scores the run. So she will get a sacrifice and an RBI, her second of the game. McNett scores. And Rundy over to third. So McNett now with 3 runs today. And Belmont with a 5-3 lead here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And meanwhile, the first pitch to Lainey Rickers is a strike. Rickers walked and stole a base, stole second in the first, grounded to third in the third. They have now fixed the scoreboard, so they've got the runs correct. They lost an inning at some point, but they've added it now. 5-3 Belmont, 2 out, bottom of the fifth inning. And the lights have just been turned on here at Bond Park. And that's strike 3, and that ends the inning. Quick strikeout, but Belmont takes the lead, 2 runs, 2 hits, actually 3 hits, and 1 runner left, and our score after 5. Belmont in front over Highland, 5-3. 1-2-3. Myers Heating and Cooling, servicing Southwest Wisconsin since 1999. Myers Heating and Cooling, where they say, don't worry, we got this. Mountain City Bank's total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop into Mountain City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Learn more at mountcitybank.com. Grant Regional Health Center's ortho team, Dr. Brad Binsfeld and Nate Stokoe, PAC, provides exceptional care for sports-related injuries. Grant Regional Health Center, experience the difference. And Russell Law Offices, here to assist you as your local legal representation. Call for a consultation to discuss personal injury, estate planning, family law, criminal defense, probate administration, and more. Proudly serving Southern Wisconsin, Russell Law Offices. Let's see if we can do some math here. 5 runs. 6 hits. And 1 error for Belmont. 3 runs, 5 hits, and 1 error for Highland. And the Cardinals have the 6, 7, 8 batters due up, and the first is retired immediately. Bedward on a 4-3 ground out, 1 away in the top of the 6th. Bedward previously RBI single in the 2nd inning and then popped to 2nd in the 4th. Here's Healy Doherty now, who singled in the 2nd and a stolen base and then struck out in the 4th. Belmont got 2 in the 1st. Highland tied it with single runs in the 2nd and the 3rd. Belmont got the lead in the bottom of the 3rd. Highland then tied it in the 5th. But Belmont with 2 in the bottom of the 5th to take this 5-3 lead. The first pitch is a strike at the knees. The 0-1. High. And it's 1 ball, 1 strike. And it seems kind of fall-like all of a sudden now with a big bank of clouds. I know somebody would say, hey, that's great football weather. Well, this isn't football. 2 balls and a strike. There comes the 2-1 from Hodgson. 2-2 on a swing and a miss. The one thing that Jeff Hodgson was a little concerned about at the start of the season was pitching depth because his pitchers graduated, and that's a swing and a miss, 2 out. And by the way, we are brought to you by Mountain City Bank. Their total line of credit allows you to use the equity in your home to do the things you want. Stop into Mountain City Bank to apply. Offer subject to approval. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Learn more at mountaincitybank.com. Popped foul off the backstop by Biba, who struck out in the 2nd, grounded as short in the 4th. We will have Fenimore and Cuba City in baseball Friday, 4:10 start on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. First pitch is upstairs, or actually the second pitch is 1 ball, 1 strike. And then we will return with Mineral Point in Cuba City next Tuesday, I believe that is. Here's the 1-1. Hit foul, 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that made the street on the first base side. Then we'll have, this one ought to be good, Boscobel and Fenimore a week from Friday, and so we will see Greta Grassel at work for the Bulldogs. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. And strike 3, and that ends the inning. Hodgson works a quick 1-2-3 with 2 strikeouts and through 5.5. Belmont 5, Highland 3. We are brought to you by Claire Bank with their 8 locations in Southwest Wisconsin, or 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin. Proud to support our community events. Claire Bank, where they say we can do that. Member FDIC and equal housing lender. Fritz's Burner Service in Darlington. Contact Fritz's Burner Service, your best choice for all your heating and cooling needs in Darlington and the surrounding area. Visit them at fritzburnerservices.com or call 608-776-2123. Doolittle's Pub and Eatery in Lancaster. Follow them on Facebook for daily lunch specials. Doolittle's on the square in Lancaster. Parman Farm Supply offers Best Kill insecticides and Easy Way cattle feeders. Parman Farm Supply can work with beef and dairy operations from 1 to 1,000, both organic and traditional. Call Parman Farm Supply in Belmont today. And we're brought to you by Rundy Plumbing and Heating in Belmont. For all your agricultural, commercial, and residential needs, call Rundy Plumbing and Heating in Belmont. 5-3 Belmont. Bottom of the 6th inning, 7, 8, 9 batters. Lexi Rickers, Hodgson, and Claire Rundy as the Braves try to get some more insurance runs before the top of the 7th for the Highland Cardinals. We'll have the Culver's cool down afterwards, of course, with the Tricor turning point, which may have been 1 inning ago, but I guess we'll see about that, won't we? Lexi Ricker struck out looking in the first, grounded to the pitcher in the 4th. Ball 1. One-0. Up the middle, base hit. So Rickers, with her first hit of the game, now board at first. Here's Hodgson. Struck out looking in the second. Popped to the catcher in the 4th inning. And a bunt. Good one. Throw to first in time. Rickers advances to second. And here's Claire Rundy, who struck out in the 2nd and in the 4th. Jeff Hodgson, the Belmont coach, at the third on the in the third base coach's box. 7 trips to state and 2 state titles. And the last one in 2019, they had the sectional final right here. So that's a good sign, I guess. First pitch is a strike. Also, the other team that will be hosting the sectional might benefit them as the pitch is low, strike at the knees, 2 strikes, is Boscobel, because Boscobel hosts the sectional as well at Cronsage Park. Grounded right back to the pitcher. The throw to second, and then to first, and a wild throw at first. That'll score Rickers. And it's 6-3. And Rundy at first on fielder's choice and the error. Second error of the game, I think, on Highland. And so back to the top of the order, and Mester, who grounded to second in the first, fly to left in the second, singled and scored in the 5th. So she's 1 for 3 with a run scored. 1 out. And Highland needs to get out of this inning without further damage to have a chance at the top of the 7th inning. And pitches a ball, and going to second on the steal is Rundy. So she's at second. And meanwhile, 1 ball, 1 strike to Mester. One. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 9-1-2 batters for Highland in the top of the 7th inning. But they got to get out of this inning first. 1-2. Fouled off. And we will repeat that. Again, Brewers and Pirates on AM 1590 WPVL. Both tonight and tomorrow and Thursday afternoon. After the Brewers went to St. Louis and swept the Cardinals last weekend. I was reading as that's 2 balls and 2 strikes. I was reading some uncomplimentary comments about the Cardinals from Cardinals fans online over the weekend. And Chopper dribbles past first. And then an errant throw. It's 7-3 as Rundy comes in to score. RBI single for Mester. Her second hit of the game. And here is McNett, who is 3 for 3 with 3 runs scored. Mineral Point on the Shoebox scoreboard, presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. Mineral Point leading Boscobel 12-5, or wins over Boscobel 12-5 this afternoon. And that game was in Boscobel. Meanwhile, 1 ball, 1 strike to McNett. I wonder if they've recovered from state yet. I mean, obviously the baseball team just kind of picked up where they left off, but 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mineral Point, not only did they win the state championship, but they won it in as dramatic fashion possible. Swing and a miss for strike 3. 2 away as McNett retired for the first time in the game. And here is Reese Rundy, sacrificed and scored in the first, sacrifice in the third, RBI single in the 5th. And the first pitch, ball 1. I mean, you think about it, they almost didn't get to the championship game. If you had tuned in with a minute left in that semifinal game, you would have thought, oh, they have no shot. And you know what it was, of course. What ended up winning the game for Mineral Point was the announcer switch. Popped up and caught to end the inning. Run scores, however, and all that was in the 6th, not the 7th, the idiot. Run and on a hit and an error. 1 runner left. And our score after 6, Belmont 7, Highland 3. That was actually 2 runs in that inning. Belmont 7, Highland 3. As we go to the 7th inning. And our game brought to you by Claire Bank with our 8 convenient locations in Southwest Wisconsin. Proud to support our community events. Claire Bank, where they say we can do that. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender. And Fritz's Burner Service in Darlington. Contact Fritz's Burner Service, your best choice for all your heating and cooling needs in Darlington and the surrounding area. Visit them at fritzburnerservices.com or call 608-776-2123. Again, we will have the Culver's cool down after the game, including the Tricor turning point. (9-1-2) batters, Hennessy, Mishick, and Bullant in the top of the 7th inning with a 7-3 Belmont lead. And hit foul, it's strike 1. for Hennessy. She struck out in the second, singled and scored in the fifth, and tied the game with her RBI, with her run scoring in the fifth. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yep, Tyler made way to Matthew Gadinin to end the season, only to find out that wasn't going to happen. 2 balls and a strike. Landon Thousand, of course, who inexplicably was left wide open on the inbounds pass, hit the game-winning 3. Chopped foul at the plate, 2 balls, 2 strikes. I bet they're still complaining about that in lacrosse. But he was wide open. The player came over, but it was way too late. That ball was already headed to the hoop. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chop foul at the plate. Foul. 2-2. And then, of course, the championship game almost got away from Mineral Point, but nobody boxed out Drew Ashleman on the rebound. Bunt to third and safe at first. So an infield single for Hennessy. Her second hit of the game. And here is Mishik, who struck out looking in the first, reached on an error and scored in the third, and then lined out to center in the fifth. Ball 1. Yeah, it turns out gold works perfectly well with Columbia blue. 1-0 pitch. And hit out to center. And caught by the center fielder, Lainey Rickers, for the first out in the top of the 7th inning. That makes Mishik 0 for 4 with a run scored. Here's Bullant, grounded to second in the first, popped out to the catcher in the third, and then grounded to the pitcher in the fifth. Strike 1. That Mineral Point basketball score was on the Shoebox scoreboard, of course, presented by the Shoebox in Black Earth, the largest independent shoe store in the Midwest. The 0-1 fouled off, and it's quickly 2 strikes as the sun is trying to fight its way through the cloud bank. And maybe it'll warm it up a little bit. 2 strikes with 1 out. And Hennessy at first. That is low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, here comes the sun. And no, I'm not going to sing. Lined up the middle for a base hit. And then an errant throw, and getting to third is Hennessy. And so it's first and third on Bullett's base hit. Her first of the game. And suddenly, here is Kate Terrell with 1 out, 2 runners aboard. Tying run will be in the on-deck circle. And then Terrell, it's off the pitcher, and everybody's going to be safe. I don't know, error or hit? Call it an error on Terrell, and suddenly the bases are loaded. Terrell previously struck out in the first, RBI double in the third, and then intentionally walked in the fifth. So Now, I mean, it's still 7. Well, actually, a run did score. Hennessy scored. So it's now right. Runners at first and second. Tying run now at the plate in Halverson, who walked and scored in the second. Struck out looking in the third. Singled RBI single in the fifth. 7-4. Belmont leads Highland. 1 away. Top of the 7th inning. And this is hit up the middle for a base hit. And suddenly now the bases are loaded. Her second hit, Halverson's. And now it's Bullen at third. Kate Terrell at second. Halverson at first, still 1 out, and here's Yawn. Yawn with a sacrifice in the second, fly to left in the third, and then popped to second in the fifth. And a fly ball, center field. Lainey Rickers makes the catch. Nobody advances. And so Highland is down to its last out. Bedward singled, actually an RBI single in the second. Popped to second in the fourth. Grounded to second in the sixth. 7-4 Belmont, 2 outs. Tying run at first with bases loaded. And that's a called strike at the bottom of the knees. 0-1. The 0-1. Fouled off at the plate, and Highland now down to its last strike. Oh, 2 with 2 out, bases loaded. And that's ball 1. Not by much. 1-2 with 2 outs. 7-4 Belmont, top of the 7th. Swing and a miss, and that ends it. Well, Highland got the tying runs aboard, but couldn't get them in. They do score 1, leave the bases loaded, and Belmont wins meeting number 1 over Highland 7-4. And as soon as I can do the math, the Culver's Cool Down presented by Culver's in Dubuque, Galena, and Platteville on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Pause a moment here. Oops. Not that way. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, I got one added up here. We'll fix the rest, and then we'll be ready to go in a second here. All right, I think we're ready to go. Belmont the winner today over Highland, 7-4. Belmont 7 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. They left 5 runners on base. Highland 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors, and the Cardinals left 7 runners on base. Winning pitcher for the Cardinals, or for the Braves, is Kelly Jo Hodgson. Hodgson giving up the 7 runs. And she had, let's see, seven strikeouts actually, in picking up the victory. And the way the game went, Belmont got 2 runs in the first inning. Highland got a run in the second and a run in the third to tie it. Belmont got a run in the bottom of the third. And then Highland tied it with a run at the top of the fifth inning, but Belmont got 2 in the bottom of the 5th, 2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Highland got 1 run in the 7th and loaded the bases, but were unable to get the run in. Hodgson got the strikeout to end the ball game. We're going to have. Think we can get him over here? No. This is why you always need extra staff people trying to get a post-game interview. Well, at any rate, as far as hitting highlights, probably Addison McNett, 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored in the ball game. Morgan Freeman had 2 RBIs and went 1 for 3. The freshman Raymaker had 2 RBIs, although she didn't get a hit, which is kind of interesting. And then for Highland, Halverson, 2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI. And then the 9th place hitter, Hennessy, 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. But again, Belmont wins over Highland 7-4. We are joined by a Belmont coach. Hang on a second. Jeff Hodgson.
Yep.
I'm just running a little. I don't know why I blew up. You've only been here for 30 years. Why I don't know your name, I don't understand that. But how do you feel about the win?
Good, solid conference win. We put the ball in play and made them field it. I think our defense is a little stronger at this point in the season. They'll get it together. They made some mistakes on defense that kind of cost them, but I think our short game helped us, and I think we probably went hit for hit with them, but I think our short game probably won the game.
The thing that the scoreboard shows is they tied it, you took the lead. They tied it again. You took the lead. They tied it again, and then you took the lead for good in the 6th inning. Fifth inning. You always had an answer basically whenever Highland did something.
Yeah, we got a pretty good team. We have a deep lineup. The other night we played a JV game last night, and we had 3 home runs in the JV game. We got kids sitting on the bench that could swing for a lot of people, and I'm pretty lucky.
How'd you feel like your pitching went tonight?
Well, obviously the pitcher is my daughter, and so I don't really like that. I'd be better off if she wasn't the pitcher. But
she's the pitcher.
She is. No. We've been having some arm problems, and she's been walking a few, and we haven't been able to practice. And I really thought that she pitched a complete game tonight. Lily Mitchek is probably as good as it gets in our division. I think 2nd team All-State last year, and she got her out quite a few times. And that's not a hit on Lily. That's not that we got her out, but she's done a lot of 3-for-4s against us, and tonight she wasn't. She might be the next time, but I'd say our pitching had a little bit to do with it, and so we're happy about that.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because you have the last regular season game is scheduled with these 2 teams, and Highland will have that game on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. And so I guess the question is, what do you feel like you have to do better the next time out?
We just got to keep getting better. We're not anywhere close to where we need to be. Here's the best thing about our program. Okay, our number 3 hitter put down 2 sacrifices, and I asked her to do a third, and she was mad that she didn't get the third one down. And most number 3 hitters for most programs won't bunt. Ours do, and ours are glad to do it. And so we're pretty unselfish, and we just need to keep working. We got to get a lot better. So that's it. Everything.
Okay. Well, as long as you're here, I guess I'll ask this question: is what do you feel like is the key to the success of this program? Because you guys are perennials at this point. Got to the sectional final last year, won state a couple of years ago. You've been to state 7 times. Large number of conference titles, large number of regional titles. What's the secret to your success?
You said that you read in the Platteville Journal that we had a bunch of legacy players, girls who, when I was 24 and 25 and didn't know how this thing went, they were so good that I couldn't screw it up. And that's the honest truth. Mm-hmm. And we've set a standard here and how you practice and how you play and how you compete. And we're really proud of that. And I think it's a tradition that everybody, and I'll tell you, when we weren't playing real well this year, we kind of talked about that. And this is a group that doesn't want to be the one that breaks, the streak of the way Belmont softball is supposed to be played. And we're really lucky. We have a great facility. We have a great community that, we have older people that watch us practice. And I always tell girls, that's a huge, that is a huge benefit, that most girls teams don't get. Donnie Cunningham comes and watches us practice every day. I mean, it's just a community sport, and we're really proud to represent our community.
All right. Well, thanks for coming over. Thanks for holding the rain off, by the way, because all this electronic stuff, you hear this big buzzing sound, and then you don't have any more announcers.
Right. The other key I'll tell you is my dad told me a long time ago, he said, son, you're not very smart, so you better not be lazy. I would say that is what my coaching style is. So that's what I think we do well. I don't think we're lazy.
Yeah, well, it works, obviously. So, yeah. All right, well, congratulations on the win. We'll see you later this season. We may see you a lot later this season, depending on how things go.
We hope so. We hope that, somebody's got to play Oakfield here. They have pretty much a cakewalk to get here. And our whole side is going to beat the heck out of each other, and we're hoping we're the last one standing.
Well, if you guys in Oakfield are here, we guarantee you we will be here for that.
I guarantee that fence will be farther back. I'll learn a thing from Gene Van Dyke. You can move that fence to where you want it to, and it'll be back farther. So,
you mean Wilson Park is not just the launching pad all the time?
Wilson Park is 185, and but hey, both teams hit on it.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, that's very true. Congratulations and good luck the rest of the season. We'll see you at least with the Highland game and probably around other times also.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Jeff Hodgson, the Belmont coach. Belmont the winner tonight over Highland 7-4. Time for the Tricor Turning Point presented by Tricor Insurance. Insurance plans built for you, your family, and your business. Contact Tricor Insurance today. And in a game with a lot of back and forth, the difference really ended up being the bottom of the 5th inning. Of course, it'd be helpful if I turned it there in order to tell you about it, because that gave gave Belmont the lead for good with a base hit for Lexi Rickers, sacrifice, fielder's choice with Rickers scoring on an error, and then a base hit that drove in the second run for Bailey Mester, and that's how it ended with 2 runs that ended up being the runs that gave Belmont the lead for good, and the Braves with a win tonight 7-4 over Highland. With the win now, Belmont is now the only undefeated team in the Six Rivers West. Highland with their first loss of the season in the Six Rivers West. And someplace here I have who they are playing next. I got to find one of my 27 clipboards in order to find that. And the answer is that coming up on Thursday, Highland will go to Judah Albany, and Belmont, meanwhile, will host Barneveld here at Bond Park on Thursday. They actually have back-to-back home games because they'll have Barneveld Thursday and Lancaster on Friday. That's the schedule for Belmont. By the way, Brewers baseball taking place right now on AM 1590 WPVL. They'll be back tomorrow night at 5:05, and then a businessman special in Pittsburgh Thursday afternoon on AM 1590 WPVL. Our next game here on the Queen Bee Family or the Queen Bee Sports YouTube channel Friday, Fenimore and Cuba City in baseball, 4:10 on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Dare I say it, weather permitting. I'm wondering about that. At any rate, the sports directors of Queen Bee Radio are Mark Evenstadt and R.J. Osterhaus. Tyler Dictanis is our producer for today's game. Johnny Page is our chief engineer. We didn't have to call him. That's good. Thanks to Brandon Wise and the staff at Belmont High School. Thanks to our sponsors who help us bring this game to you. And thank you for joining us. Great Regional Health Center and People's State Bank coverage of high school softball presented by Myers Heating and Cooling, Myers Home Comfort Solutions, and Wolf Construction is the Queen Bee Radio Sports presentation on the Queen Bee Radio Sports YouTube channel. Belmont remains undefeated and in first place in the Six Rivers West, 7-4 over Highland. From the Wolf Construction broadcast picnic table, for Tyler Dictanis, I'm Steve Prestegard. We'll see you for baseball, we hope, Friday.